Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Powerbomb Project. I'm one of your hosts, Bremen, accompanied by my other two hosts.
It's Daniel.
Chris.
And welcome to our Avatar Way of the Water review. And I was excited to do this because I actually loved this movie. And I love the first one. It was the best scenic, and it just looked so amazing. And this one was nothing but the same. It was great how they incorporated the water, and I think that's the biggest thing to me I loved was you see a lot of people trying to do different things in movies in the water, how they utilized the water perfectly, used it as swimming underwater and using it with the creatures underwater too, and all these creatures are nothing you've seen in real life or any close to it, except a whale, but that's the only thing I think that's how good the movie was. And then now I'm gonna bring up something that made me confused because I love this movie, but this controversy makes no freaking sense when I heard it first time before I went to the movies. This controversy is stupid as hell, and it's really what people are talking about on social media and other platforms is that these white people who are acting like who are who are the actors of the blue people of the Avatar people are are copycatting black people in real life, and I have like they're imitating the black people in real life, and that's just I don't know what the hell are they talking about, and it makes no sense to me. I talked before, and I think maybe what they thought about is like these avatars they called it in the blue people. They are getting persecuted. They're getting hunted down by these sky people or the white people in the sky, and that's maybe how are they thinking about it. But it makes no sense how that comparison compares to the movie where you talk about the movie. You don't talk about this in the first movie, but you talk about it in the second movie. There's no sense in making this. So it makes no sense, but I love the movie myself, and the controversy just makes no sense to me. I'm just gonna leave it off with this movie was a great movie and a great year movie.
And overall, I will say that the controversy is a bit kind of dumb because I don't really see the correlation between like what you're saying, Bourbon. But hey, man, it's probably came from Twitter, so I'm not that shocking. But the movie itself, it was fairly decent. I thought it was way better than the first Avatar movie, just for the fact that it didn't seem to like really drag on as bad as it did in the first one. Because like from the very first film, it was kind of like just humans talking for like half an hour, and it was just kind of not going anywhere. I mean, sure, they're establishing characters, but many of the conversations were kind of like dull and boring. But in this movie, everything seems to like kind of add up, and there's a point for everyone talking. And but yeah, there is indeed like slow moments in the movie here and there, but they do add to the plot for the most part. I mean, we'll talk about in the spoiler section of the movie, obviously, but there were some moments where I felt they could have cut off from the movie, but I thought it was pretty much a good improvement of the first one. It was just slightly better. It was more focused, but I do have a few problems with a couple of characters. But like I said, it was decent. I'll just give it a 6. It was all right.
All right. Now, my opinion. So, this is what I'll say. I cannot call this a bad film. I definitely cannot. Because, for the most part, this film was well made. And there is no denial about it. And there were definitely some moments of entertainment. But 3 hours and 12 minutes. The longest film of 2022. And I'm just going to be honest. The story, or in my opinion, I'm not going to dive too deep into it because there's a spoiler section for a reason. But the story is incredibly generic, and so is the dialogue and the characters. None of these people stand out in any way, shape, or form. And again, 3 hours and 12 minutes. The film just does not have enough stakes behind it to be this long. The final battle is literally nearly an hour. It's like they watched Man of Steel have that near hour-long final battle, and it was like, all right, let's make a final battle just as long as that. I mean, no, it doesn't fucking work. It gets boring after a while, just seeing, the same kind of shit over and over again. And yeah, this film easily could have been 2 hours. It easily could have been that. You could have easily cut an hour out of this film, and you could have easily told and provided the audience the same exact point as you did. And you probably would have gotten that point across better because there wouldn't have been so much involved. And I gotta say, the beginning of the film is definitely the weakest part of the film, like just the first hour in general. And I'm not going to explain why too much, but yeah, the film does eventually pick up a little bit, and you do end up getting some decent fun out of it here and there. You also get some great action throughout, and again, the visuals just looked very beautiful. And that's the thing about the first Avatar. It was very ahead of its time and just looked magnificent. And this movie does that too, for the most part. There are certain sections where I can't help but just feel like I'm staring at a PS2 cutscene or a PS2, a video game fight. Like, sometimes it just kind of loses that sort of edge, but it doesn't happen very often to the point where it drowns my entertainment of the film. But at the same time, for a film that has such a large budget behind it, I feel like these mistakes definitely could have been corrected. I mean, especially if, you made your audience wait 13 years after the original. These simple mistakes should have been corrected. But that is just my personal opinion. Is this a bad film? No. But I wouldn't really call it a great film either. I think it is just all right. It is fine. You get some value out of it. You do. I'm not going to say that this is a worthless film, because it's not. It is not a worthless film. It is not a bad film. There are just things about this film that I feel like could have been way better. And I wish I was less bored than I was. I really wish that. But I gotta be honest with y'all. I think this film is a 5.5 out of 10. So, Berman, what is your rating before we dive into the spoiler talk?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10.
All right. Now, Berman, kick off the spoiler talk.
Oh, I actually forgot one thing. Chris, what is your rating?
Oh, I give it a 6.
So, for spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So the spoilers, there's a lot of cool action pack, and I love that the general came back. I forgot his full name, but pretty much the main boss of the first movie came back, but as an avatar, one of the blue person. And I kind of like that, because you're trying to know their enemy. So it's kind of interesting that I like the characters, the main characters. There's the wife, there's Jack, there are his 2 sons, and his daughter and his adopted daughter. And his 2 sons, the older son is the responsible one, and the younger son is the one who's not responsible, who's just really careless. And he's kind of like a nice adopted son, really. His name is Spider. That was kind of one complaint I have, is that Spider doesn't do a lot. He's kind of like a background character. He's more developing a plot, because Spider is the son of the general, which is interesting too. So I kind of like that. I like how they did the trying to get out of it, and they went to the water people. Who I like the water people because they kind of represent the Samoan, the Maui people, because they have a lot of Samoan symbols and everything. So I think that's great how they showed this, and I think it's a great correlation, because we haven't seen the difference between avatars. You see the forest avatars have real tails and are blue, like more blue, but the water avatars have a fish tail and or more like an aqua color, and they are better swimming. So it's kind of interesting, like how the correlations of changing avatars are interesting. But the thing that I was really loved about one was how great scenery is with a big ocean vibe, and it was cool. And one thing I love too is that the correlation between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2 was Jack had there was in Avatar 1 there was a legendary forbidden flyer where no one wanted to ride him because he's a killer, and Jack rode him in Avatar 1. But now in Avatar 2 there is a legendary killer whale who Jack's son learns, becomes friends with, and kind of becomes a pretty much best friends between his son and the whale. I forgot his name, Pico. I think his name is Pico. And I think that's a nice correlation between those two, is that his son is now kind of becoming a leader or becoming more like his dad. And the kind of thing that was really heartbreaking and showed a lot of things was the death of his older son by a random shot by the general. So it was sad to see, but it was. I think the action was great too. How they kind of showed the poaching of whales was another thing. It was very sad to see the poaching of whales, but it was really cool how they correlated the water people with the white blue people, and kind of discrimination too, where like the water people, the water avatars really hate or don't like the forest avatars in their home or in their land. And I like kind of the discrimination between them, but they kind of became more friendly and became more respectful at like midway. And I think this is why I feel like the movie is so good, because of how they show the first imagery, the imagery of the ocean and everything, the discrimination, and then becoming friends. Or love that, and how the fights are great too. It takes place on a sinking ship, on a train, on the water, and even on their back, even in their backyard, against two avatars, the son and another son of the chieftain of the water people, which was interesting. And I can't. I'm gonna ramble a lot, but I think this movie was a great thing, and there's so many great pushing back from the Avatar one or a lot from other things, and I think that's why I loved this movie so much, with how great scenery is. That's all I have to say. Chris, take it away.
Like the scenery was on point. It's gonna sound really dumb, Bourbon, but you know that one particular scene where like the Australian guy goes like spear hunting for like the whales, right? And
Yes,
it's
yes.
just tell me why, dude. I know it's not funny, but I was just laughing my ass off just seeing like all these Australian dudes with just like missiles shooting like the projectiles at the poor whales, and it's just so over the top. I just couldn't help myself from laughing just for how stupid it was. Like, oh my god, you killed the baby whale, and then the whale just has. I'm sorry, they killed the mom, right? Whale, and then the baby
Yeah.
whale's just gives up all life. He's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm killing myself. I'm not eating anymore. They're gonna poach me, and I'm not feeling it. But besides that, the plot, I guess the major issue I had were his kids, just due to the fact that most of these problems were caused by them, especially like the second youngest son, that pretty much got his older brother killed for like no reason, and he was just rebelling every 10 seconds or so. Like that dude was such an annoying little shit. I wanted to slap him in his fucking blue face and send him back to his mama, because dude, he was just. Dan, you're with me on this crap, right?
I'm
Like,
actually not.
you're not with me, dude. You can't be, dude.
No, no.
Like
I actually
literally,
think all this is. I actually think all of it is Jake Sully's fault.
stop the cap. He's just being
No,
a strong, independent
no,
man.
no, 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 no. Let me explain. If he was a real man, he wouldn't let anybody allow him to leave his home with his family, allowing all those innocent people to die. For what? For you to come into another home, beg to be in their home, and bring the danger that was in your original home to their home. not only did you get all those innocent people already killed, you're gonna get even more innocent people already killed because you're a selfish asshole who can't stay home and defend yourself.
How's he gonna defend himself, dude? All they have to have arrows and like nature. Baby, you
How,
with me, right? Like they're not gonna
You have
fight
guns.
against mechs. Oh, I mean, they kind of have
no,
mechs.
no, pussy move, complete pussy move.
Baby, you gotta tell this man to stop the cap.
No, I feel like it's his son's fault too with some things that are stupid, but I don't think. I think it's Jake's fault on saying on. I think it's really half and half. Really, Jake's fault on trying to go somewhere else and trying to escape these people without taking precautions, and it's the son's fault too with trying to disregard his father's word and his father's but technically it's rebellion team. It makes sense for anything is that he's rebellious. He wants to stand away from his dad, trying to be something different. But still, he made a lot of bad decisions, and that's what caused a lot of these bad things to happen. Those two, I think, had a combination effect.
Like, I get what the movie tried to do. They tried to make Jake Sully kind of like the tough love sort of parent, like wanting the best out of his children, but at the same time, the way like he didn't even give himself like a moment to grieve when his older son died, and he just went immediately snapping, just felt so out of character from him just in the first film. And then again, him leaving his own home feels very out of character compared to him in the first film. Like, this character is kind of an asshat in this film, and I'm not going to say that.
Well, another thing, I'm going to defend him a little bit on this one is that the first movie, he never had a kid. The only thing he had was a love interest of that woman, his wife right now. So we never saw him as a dad. We just saw him as a kind of the whole movie, the first movie was him trying to blend in with the other Avatar race and trying to be one of them and maybe try to betray them. But eventually he said, no, I'm not going to. I love them. And I love her, his wife right now. And so we never seen him in the first movie be this way, but we did see him be a lot aggressive. So we never see him like a protective dad or an asshole dad, whatever you think about it. So in this movie, he's more trying to be a father. He's now a father, so I think it's a lot different from the first.
I understand where you're coming from, right? But here's the thing, right? What you just said about what he did in the first film, going against the humans and, defending the Na'vi, that was the underdog move. He had less likely chances of winning that war, but he took those chances anyway. Does this character do that in this film? Fuck no! He's a pussy who leaves!
No, he's not. He's just trying to be a good dad, Daniel. It's just like WandaVision. You just don't understand because you're not a dad.
Yes, I'm gonna immediately ignore my kid's death once it happens, just like Jake Sully. Accurate.
You know what? I love Jake Sully. His son was a piece of shit. He got his favorite son killed. I would be pissed off too.
I ain't really care for the son either, because the characters in this movie are so goddamn forgettable. But like,
how can
holy
you say about
shit,
the whale?
Man.
How can you say about the whale who got its brain blown out for $8 million?
$8 billion.
It is $8 billion. That is a number. That is the number.
Oh, that's crazy. And that was only one whale. How many fucking whales did they kill again? Dude, they must be like Elon Musk.
They never gave a number, so we have no idea. But so far, one. But he's a poacher, so we don't know.
And I know we're just being negative, but there were some good aspects of it. Not all of it was bad. I mean, there were certain moments where, like, the second youngest son was bonding with the whale. That was kind of cool. I mean, yeah, if it dragged on a bit longer, but I get it. They're both like, oh, actually no, the whale was like kind of he was like an outcast too, because he was like trying to defend his mom.
Yeah, they were both relatable to each other because of them being outcasts in their own sort of way. And I will say that was definitely one of the best parts of the film. I thought the Pandora whales in general, like all the fictional animals, like the fantasy world in general, was just very cool. But I have to address one thing. I don't want to be a dick about it, but the kid who played Spider, that was rough. That was rough.
What do you mean it was rough? He was like the best part. He was great.
His acting was really bad.
Berman.
Well, I know
Really
I gotta say, and this is I'm gonna defend him again, and I think Chris is gonna give me this too. Is that he was kind of brought up as a feral child, and it's perfectly showing that Spider was raised pretty much in the feral Nave place. He was just pretty much he was a monkey. He was just literally went into a monkey. He was not really a human. He's more a Navi trying to be a Navi or monkey. He was never he was not never properly to, teached how to be human or be a correct human. He was more a Navi person or a monkey for himself. I feel like that acting made sense in his own character in that movie, and I think I respect that acting. To me, he was fun. He was funny with some good fun parts. He was funny, but he was just a super background character but I think he was still a fun character and it made sense with the acting. I don't think his acting is bad. I just think his acting made sense for his character.
Again,
I just
it's because you didn't grow up with the Navi. That's why, Dang. You just don't understand because you're not grew up with the
you always
Navi.
come up with a reason for when I don't like something.
Movies, I get it. The movie. I love this movie, so I know that I know what people probably think don't like, and I make sense. Everything I'm putting together say that they're not supposed to be. Why I don't think it's bad.
Like, no, I definitely respect your opinion. You know, I don't know that Spider. Every time he was on the screen, it was just, oh my god. I don't know.
I think
I hated that character. I hated that character.
There's something we can all agree on Spider, guys, right?
What?
Is that he should have not saved his dad. That was
that was
stupid.
ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
That was weird. That was made no sense. It's like, oh, I'm going to set up the third movie now. Like,
right.
It's like there's nothing. Only if he had shared some sympathy, saying, "Well, I want to save him because he was my dad," or he's saying, "I want to save him because he's Navi." I have no idea what's the idea, which one or two, but I still think he's still loyal to the Navi. But I have no idea for what personal reason would he save his dad. His dad will make, dad. Well, actually, no, it makes more sense to him.
Dude.
The thing now I think about now, because the thing is, what happened was, so the commander killed the younger brother or the older brother of Jay. So the mom went berserk, and what happened? It makes sense now that the mother, she pretty much got Spider and put her knife around his throat and say, "I will kill him for a son if you don't let my daughter go," or something like that. And she actually slit his throat, like barely his skin, not his throat. So I think he probably thought in his head, if she's able to do that to me, what happens if I get mad, if she gets mad at me again? She's gonna kill me. So I think maybe he's trying to give a second post. He's trying to say, all right, I have a second family with him if I get too scared of the Navi. Now I think that makes sense now.
Yeah. I will just say though, that I feel all right. Oh man, I don't know. It's like I don't want to shit on this movie too much because I know it's not a bad film. Like, it's definitely not. But like a lot of the shit that just happens in this film makes no sense. I just can't help but think that, man. Like, if it wasn't for some of the stupid decision making that happened throughout the film, we wouldn't even need Avatar 3, 4, and 5. And yeah, thanks, Spider. You made this a franchise now, dickhead.
Oh, no, not just him. They gotta talk about the soul of the tree that gives Avatar people powers to communicate with fishes for some reason.
Oh yeah, and if you really think about it, like, this film basically is the exact same as the first in terms of its message. and it's to respect other cultures, respect cultures that aren't your own. Jake Sully began Avatar 1 as a human, and the whole story was about learning how to respect the Na'vi. Avatar 2, it's about the Na'vi and these water tribe Avatar trying to respect each other and, respect each other's cultures. Basically, these films tell the same messages, in both films. Is that necessarily the worst thing ever? No, but it definitely gave me this sense of, the overall film just having the repetitive vibe behind it.
Well,
That's
they might
just
change it up. They're probably going to change it up in their last two movies. Probably they're going to change it up to more difference.
May I make a suggestion to the third movie?
What's up?
They should have the Avatar people go into a fucking volcano, so we can get fire Avatar people. That'd be fucking awesome.
Fire Avatar for 3.
Yeah, and
then we know such as 4 avatars in never in the first movie. They showed the sky, they showed water, they showed the forest, and I think they showed one on the mountains, the mountain one. Those are the 4. Those are the 4 avatars that they showed.
So they're taking Avatar 3 to the mountains.
No, dude, they're taking him to space.
I feel like the space will be in. I think that Avatar one in space might probably be the end. Will be the final Avatar.
That would be nuts if they took it to that level.
Nah, dude, and then they fucking turn into Among Us. It's you're not a blue person. You're a fucking imposter.
But no, thanks to that Jack Perry wannabe Spider, we have this franchise now. Hopefully it's good. That's all I could leave it at. But I don't know. I feel like these films are visually impressive, but they're the kind of films that are more fascinating in terms of how they're made and all that, rather than films to watch. But that's just my whole opinion at the end of the day. I think the villains were garbage, absolute garbage. I think.
Way to be positive, Daniel. Way to be fucking positive.
I mean, I'm just being serious. The villains in this movie were awful. I mean, I remember them being bad in the first film, but holy shit, they are fucking awful in this second film.
Oh, they're not. Bourbon, again, you countered this man because literally they were bad.
They weren't that bad. No, there's a few parts where the general were a little bit too much like a nice guy, which no, he's not. The general is a really dick dude in the first movie. But he did show his colors more at the end, where he says, "Fuck no, I'm gonna do this." But I feel like I kind of get why they made this him, because I feel like he was not supposed to be. I think he was trying to be in a good graces with his son Spider. I feel like that's the point of his existence, or maybe his point of the character was, yeah, I'm gonna be a bad guy until I found my son was still alive, so I'm going to try making a good impression with my son, so he's not doesn't hate me for my entire life or his life. So I think that was kind of how I think why his character was a little bit all over the place. But I think it makes sense for his character in this movie, how am I thinking?
Well, this is well said. I'm glad that we kind of disagree on this film more than our other reviews in general. I will definitely say that it's an interesting dynamic, but I couldn't help but just feel like they were very generic. Maybe that's just because all the characters, in my opinion, are as well. But I don't know. I don't really have any more things to say, or I don't really have anything else to say. That's proper English. Anything else to say about the spoiler talk right here? But yes, I think the whole allegation of this movie being racist is kind of weird. I didn't really get that correlation whatsoever. Yeah, that's pretty much all I could say on it. If you want my recommendations, do I recommend it? Do I not? Here's the thing: if you're a sucker for great, how do I describe it? If you're a sucker for great visuals, great action, then you might enjoy this film. But if you focus in on the story and acting, it's very, very average. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Chris, do you have anything to say about this?
No, like I said, I didn't hate it. It was definitely an improvement of the first film, and hopefully, it doesn't have to drag as long as for the next sequels. Because apparently James Cameron is done with the third film already. He just has
Yeah.
to edit it down. But it's like right now he said that it was like almost 8 hours long, and I'm
Fucking
like, oh
hell.
God, please God no,
Fucking hell.
please no.
Dude, no, James Cameron, please. People, listen. I didn't think I was gonna be able to survive 3 hours. Any more than that,
Well, that movie's going to come out in 2024.
yeah, dude, they're trying to be like Lord of the Rings with this shit or Star Wars.
Jake's gonna
And
fucking bond with a hamster. It's gonna be magical.
Now, I did say I was done, but I just remembered something. So James Cameron very recently talked about how testosterone is like the worst thing in the human body, and it's like an absolute toxin, which, by the way, is a horrible point. Like that couldn't be further from the truth. Testosterone is something the human body needs. Trust me. So, yeah, LT right there from James Cameron. But when you look at Jake Sully, like, I don't know, isn't that like a typical testosterone? You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then this is also the guy that made Terminator 2. Again, I don't get it.
Yeah, there's nothing else I gotta say. If there's nothing else, thank you guys for watching this. I've been Berman.
I've been Daniel.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, we see you guys in next year, 2023. Peace,
Take it
guys.
easy.